the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. In studio this week, I have a band that has traveled a little bit to come hang out with us today. All the way from around Nashville area. aVa, in studio with me tonight. Say who you are and what you do in the band.
I'm Jay. I'm the guitarist and singer.
I'm Jason. I'm the bass player.
I'm Micah. I'm the guitarist.
I'm Steve. I'm the drummer.
And you guys have been together for how long?
Right around 2 years.
2 years playing hard, or 2 years since you formed and you just went out and...
It's been a roller coaster. We'll get out, play real hard, and we'll be that way. We got to fix a lot. We got to fix some stuff because we're all perfectionists. It's bad.
So that sidelines you a lot?
A lot of member changes, just trying to find the right people that want to be here for the music versus being here for egos.
Well, how long has it been this for?
It's been now about 6 months.
Micah just came in about 2 months ago, but basically Steve, Jason, and myself, we've been together almost since the beginning. Me and Steve were the original.
Yeah.
Jason came in about 6 months after we started and has been here. Micah's fresh blood.
He got beat in.
Are you still having to carry all the equipment in? Or are they still?
Of course.
No. Actually, I went to one show, helped carry equipment, and then
Yes.
in the band. Nice.
Oh, so that's how you get in. All this time.
No, that's funny. He had never met Steve, and Steve's 6'9".
Yeah.
So I send Mike out to help carry Steve's gear in. Steve didn't know who he was. All he sees is some kid getting in the back of his van pulling his drums out.
Oh.
I went and grabbed a piece of drum equipment and turned around, and there's a huge giant standing there. It's like, "Hello, sir. I like your band. I'm carrying your equipment."
And then you got jumped into the band. That's
Right,
exactly.
I got a
It's,
chance.
so once you got him off of him, and then he was ready to.
Yeah.
And all this time, I thought you just had to practice really hard to get into a band. Being a roadie is a good start.
No, you don't have to be good anymore.
Well, you guys seem like you've got a lot of camaraderie going, and you seem like you kind of have that family vibe. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight, kind of see where your direction's going from here, where you've been, and get to know a little bit about your music. And I want to start off with one of your tracks that's got a female member. Where did the Pardon from the Gallows?
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy!
That's
one time.
Give us the short version.
the short version. Life isn't always grand, but we'll just leave it at that. And this girl, Rose, who lives actually in the UK, technically, I don't even remember the name. It's such a weird name for a city, but we were both going through the exact same thing, and basically we were there for each other where no one else would be there, even though, it's through, mobile apps and stuff. But I ended up writing a song about it, and she actually recorded the vocals for that over her phone.
Everybody's been in that depressing part, and I don't need to go as dark as it needs to, but everyone's been in that depressing part, and it's a way of saying, someone's there for you, someone's there right in the midst, and can hopefully pull you out of it. And
it's very rare that you often hear a band talk about how great it is somebody phoned in a performance. So that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, I've never heard of people. I've heard of people using studios across seas
I am
and
going to
stuff.
question now whether or not Five Finger Death Punch stole your idea because they used voicemails for some of their latest stuff.
I have no idea.
Who knew that they were such a fan? All right, well, let's tell you what. How about if we give it a listen? It's Pardon from the Gallows. It's aVa on the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. It's the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7 this evening, acquainting ourselves with aVa. We've already had a chance to listen to one of your tracks, and you guys, we've established together for a couple of years, kind of had some members come and go, some changes have happened, and you are kind of in a certain direction. What direction would you label your music as headed?
Where it's headed from where it's at now, like right now, we have the heavier stuff, the more aggressive stuff, but we also have, I don't want to say trendy, but it's more of a pop, hard rock sound, with like Sucker Punch and some of the other tracks. It's got that ska feel from the early 90s in it.
Like a modern rock thing.
I was getting ready to say, you listen to, like, we listened to Pardon from, and we're going to listen to another song later, but Sucker Punch kind of has that, once it starts, it's like, you listen to one song and then you go, wait a minute, is this the same band? It sounds a little bit different. And then once it gets going, you're like, okay, I see what you're doing here. I kind of like where you're heading with this.
It's very diverse as well. Like, if you want to hear one type of music, that's one thing, but if you want to hear like a show that has something for everybody, definitely aVa.
Steve, how do you get from L.A. back to Nashville? How do you?
That story.
Long story short, I was on a plane going back to school, ran into a country artist, and she suggested I come tour with her. I did that for a while, and then that didn't work out too well, and I was stuck in Nashville.
I see. So,
How many times have you heard that got stuck in Nashville story?
Womp womp.
translation: you blew all your gas money and you couldn't get back out. Right?
Translation, he got.
It was a good tour for about 7-8 months.
That's exactly how I found this band.
Well, I think you were the roadie. We've established.
He's L.A. too, and
I left the
Plopped
West
here.
Coast, came to Nashville, found these guys, and I was like, all right, finally, real talented musicians, let's do it.
What about you, Jason?
I actually relocated from Boulder, Colorado back in 2004, and I've been here ever since.
What about you, Jay?
I've pretty much always lived in Virginia, and then I came down here for family, so I don't have the.
So you guys really didn't actually, with the exception of you, Steve. I mean, music kind of sounds like it brought you here.
Yes.
As far as affiliation with somebody else, but the rest of you kind of sound like music just happened to be something that happened while you were already here.
Yeah, I've always been around music.
So the whole intent wasn't really, we're going to start a band and go for broke. It was more along the lines of, I'm here, let's see what I can do with music.
Everyone meeting here was an accident. Literally an accident. Yeah. He used to take photos from my old band, and through another person, which we won't get into that.
No.
That's exactly where I met him 2 years after that.
I used to manage this said person, and Jonathan was writing music for this. And that all kind of fell apart. He tried to contact me. And when he contacted me at the time, in Virginia, he had this really cool...
I was in a band. It was horror swing rock. Like, you were listening to really up-tempo Johnny Cash, but it was all like horror movie context, like zombies and stuff like that. It was really good and fun. It was extremely fun, but we all did these really dramatic get-ups, and I had this mask that was made by a guy in the UK. All my friends are in the UK. And made me the mask for that group, and that was my default picture on social media. So that's what came up when I called him.
Every time he answered on the phone was just, I mean, it looked like Texas Chainsaw Massacre gone bad, Leatherface trying to, hey, I want to call you. So for a long time, I just kept blowing him off. Well, long story short, he got a hold of me and said, I got some of these songs. You managed said artist. So he said, I would like to possibly sell these. So I heard them. They were more kind of a ska punk, but more faster tempos and stuff like that. And I said, well, let me listen to us for a little bit. So we listened to it some more, and I said, hey, let's change this. And out came this amazing music, and I said, forget selling it, dude. You need to perform it.
And I was just like,
need to perform it.
Well, I know of a bass player. Do you want to be the drummer? He's like, yeah!
Wow.
He was thinking it, but he didn't say it.
Almost every song was about 2 minutes long. It was in and out, fast.
True punk rock.
It. Yeah. And I'd come back to him and say, that's a great song, but, you got to write another verse. You got to get an intro. You got to add some more stuff, and voila, here you go. This is amazing stuff now.
Few twists, a few turns, there you are, and that was a roller coaster ride. I'm going to go get some popcorn because it sounds like we've got more to talk about here. We're going to continue our conversation with aVa as we continue the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. It's the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. This week we have in with us aVa, and we have not talked about yet, where does aVa come from? We've talked about you guys have come together, where you started out, which was very interesting to be sure, but certainly a group of personalities. So I'm curious how the name came to be.
All right, I guess that one's on me again, right?
That's you,
Yeah, that's me. A church I used to go to with said person. I was really, really good friends with the music director. They had just adopted a daughter, and they were talking to me, and they're like, yeah, your music to you is like my aVa. And I was like, that's the name. Because,
So then
so it's not a fascinating story.
We researched it, and of course, the first part of it is a feminine kind of understanding of a feminine name, but the other meaning is aviation, like flight. And I said, perfect, right there, aVa, flight.
And your obsession with airplanes, you were down
that
for
works
it.
too. Yeah, being a private pilot works pretty good too. Yes.
That kind of ties in nicely.
Yes, it does.
A little bit. I hate airplanes, though. You got to beat me up and knock me out and put me in a coma before I get on a plane.
So bus tour it is then.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much for that private plane. That's not gonna work out for you guys.
You're not flying high like a G6.
No, I'm not.
No.
But I can whip.
Don't watch me.
Did you just really? Did you just do a hand motion
He just.
I just made fun
just-
of half the internet. Yeah.
on a radio interview? You just did
a
a hand motion.
I did that for you personally.
So anyway, you guys, as we mentioned earlier, you kind of have that family vibe going. So I'm guessing getting into the studio probably not that hard as far as getting work done. Or
That's why actually, the studio will make or break you if you want to be there or not, which is why Mike is sitting here now.
Right.
A
lot of
you
hours.
find out a lot. Like, someone could be the best guitarist in the world, and when they actually get in a studio, you really hear what they're doing, and you can hear everything. Like, if someone is playing something wrong or playing something right, or if they are a studio player. Because I know for a long time I was just a live guy. I couldn't play in the studio to save my life. Well, then I actually put a studio in my house, even though it was just cheap 4-track. I trained myself to play in the studio.
Yeah.
So some people have it, some people just don't. And the fighting that will occur in a studio when you go in there with, put people you call family, that'll break you up quick.
Well, the thing is, too, it's like, there's a magnifying glass, or as you call it, microscope on your playing that you've never heard before. When you practice, everyone's pretty much focusing on just their parts. But when you go in the studio, you really have a chance to listen to what everyone else is really playing. And then you really find out if we really are in the same kindred spirit or not. And that's kind of...
So you kind of have to keep the mindset of, I'm going into the studio, it's got to sound like this, it's got to flow.
Yes.
So you also have the mindset that when you take it back out of the studio, we now have to change it for live sound? Or...
No, we really want to create what we do in the studio live. So it's
Or vice versa.
Yeah, and of course the goal is to be even better if you can live. Record something that's above your abilities, above where your standard is. So you have to basically rise above when you play it live. That's the goal that I've always strived for.
Ding, 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 ding.
And there's the
We don't really need to say anything else on that one because that was, that summed it up well.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank
At
you.
least that's what my instructors told me.
Is that how Selfish came together? Or?
Basically, it's that said guy again.
Said again. But the thing is, too, is that's where it started, but also, too, everyone's ran into those kind of people.
Yeah, when I write songs, I look at a specific person, and then I try to write it to where everybody can relate to it. Like, every single one of our songs, I can guarantee everyone has someone or knows someone in their life that is that way.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes we've become narcissistic, and this is kind of a way to wake up call saying, don't be like this.
You can also use it as self-therapy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's give them a little self-therapy. It's Selfish. It's aVa on the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. It's the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. In-house with us tonight, we have aVa. Had a pretty good time talking with you guys. I'm going to have you go around again. Say your names and what you do in the band.
I am Jay, and I play rhythm/lead guitar and lead vocals.
Jason, play bass.
I'm Micah. I play rhythm/lead guitar.
I'm Steve. I play drums and sometimes backup vocals or whatever.
No, wait, I try to sing and play guitar.
Yes.
I find it interesting you both claim that you try to play like Slash. I just heard that there.
That's it.
Actually, that's another story, is I've always hated playing solos unless they were more like, the old Silverchair stuff, very just tasteful. And every time it was just like, and this song needs a solo, this song needs a solo. So it's like I hated writing solos, I hated playing them. Now I'm just like, I like my solos.
We both take solos. It's kind of odd because we
You
have
do the
two
fancy
very-
stuff.
We have two very separate styles of playing. He is very tight, hard-hitting riffs, and I make chaotic noise on a guitar.
He
And when you
does.
add that together, you kind of get aVa. It's really not a lot of soloing going on. Neither one of us are devoted to just solos.
So
He's
do you-
stuck in chaos.
Do you determine when you're writing the song who's going to handle the lead duties, or is it just whatever feels right when you're putting it together?
When I'm putting the song together, if I'm hearing that this needs an actual person playing a solo that can play solos, I'll take it.
I think also, too, that trial and error is practice. There was a couple of songs that would have been assigned differently. But once we played it and went through it and felt it, it felt more comfortable with that person playing it, or that person.
Or the sound of the amp, or the sound of the guitar, the tone.
So you keep it flexible.
Yeah, very flexible.
I mean, that's why we're both rhythm/lead, because it just depends on. Sometimes he'll be like, "Nah, I don't want to play it. You play it." And so I'll play it.
And you keep something simple, and once the song is established, it'll pretty much tell you what needs to be here and what doesn't need to be here.
You guys get out and play. How often are you out performing live?
We haven't been out in 2 months now, but we have a headlining show at Daisy Duke's Saturday, August 1st, with actually my favorite local artist.
Yes.
I know everybody grins at me when I say it, but I really think these guys are going to go somewhere, and it's Eight Faces.
Hey, we've had them in studio.
They're like drummers, like 13 years old.
Yeah.
And the guitar player already has a huge reputation and guest spots with everybody, and he's like, what, 15 or 16
I was going to say, and the more interesting thing about that, he's not been playing guitar that long.
Yeah, I think when we talked to him, he said like 2-3 years.
And he was saying in the interview that, I've only been playing it for about a year or so. And I'm like, really? Okay.
He swamps me.
He's pretty good. So you're going to be with Eight Faces. That's going to be up where?
At Daisy Duke's in Nashville.
Up in Nashville. So you guys can go see them there. And, of course, you've got some other dates you're going to line up as you go down. And I think we've talked about you're working on putting together a new disc.
Yes.
Yeah, we're actually working on some stuff,
EP.
some new stuff now. And we've got some stuff done. And also, Olympians Asylum's going to be on that show, too.
Yes.
Okay.
I've never played with them, but I like what I hear.
Looking forward to it.
Well, their chance to see you guys live is going to be up there, and you are also online, so they can check you out up on Reverb Nation and find out other dates of where you're going to be at, and that's also where they can get songs, yeah?
Yes.
No, they can listen to them.
They can listen to them.
We only have one song that's available for download right now, and you kind of got to jump through hoops to find it because it's on my personal SoundCloud page.
Okay.
But it's a cover of DuckTales. Woo!
Yes, because we had to.
Wow.
You can just go to SoundCloud and search aVa DuckTales, and it will pop up.
That was fun.
That is that's probably one of the more unique covers I've heard of. So I don't think I can top that, guys. Thank you for coming in and talking to us. We've had aVa in. Appreciate you guys traveling down to speak with us.
Thanks.
We appreciate you coming to work today.
It's the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7.